Friends, welcome to another edition of Know the Cause. What's it been? 17 years I've been saying that. Welcome aboard. We're glad you're here. In the opening of today's show, Frank Jordan, my friend from the NSC Company, is going to be talking about adverse reactions to otherwise harmless substances. We call those allergies. Do you have sniffles? Are they seasonal or are they all year long? Did they start as seasonal and now they've gotten worse, right? We're going to talk about that. Then Jenny Herbachik is going to be here talking about chemicals in your toiletries, deodorant, etc. I'm going to end the show today with a segment called Whoops, Sorry, because Berkeley, my 3-year-old grandson, now says that often. We're making mistakes in medicine. You don't want to miss it. All that and more on today's Know the Cause. This show is brought to you by the NSC Company. When you can't, Beta Glue can. My name is Doug Kaufman. For the past 40 years, I've dedicated my life and even my career to finding the root cause of disease. Join me and a team of physicians, pharmacists, and scientists, and soon you too will know the cause. Okay, folks, Frank Jordan joins me right now. He is my go-to immunology guy. Frank and I used to have dark hair together. We go back a whole decades knowing each other. Frank wasn't in this field many years ago. He's in this field now. His product is called Beta Glucan. Many of you have gotten his free pack, loved it, and bought a bottle of it. Frank, we have come through, since I've known you, probably 2022 flu seasons. Beta Glucan is my go-to supplement. NSC 100 is what I take, and I'm telling you, I have been well. I'm an old guy now, and I still stay well. Every morning before my workout, I go and throw down the NSC 100, and I'm telling you, I don't know what this is all about. Maybe you can explain it to the audience, but I love this because I enjoy good health.
Well, you know, Doug, Beta Glucan is called a nutritional supplement. A supplement is something that takes the place of what you may not be doing and makes it work the way it should. Well, a nutritional supplement, you're talking in this case about the flu. It's your immune system. Your immune cells get run down, just like all of us, particularly as we age, and we're subject to these things. We're more likely to catch because we eat poorly, we don't exercise moderately, we're under constant stress, we don't get adequate sleep. All of those things are necessary to keep your immune response the way it ought to be. So what do? You supplement to take care of the deficiency in what you don't do appropriate. And that's where the MG Beta Glucan comes in, that we will go into your body and supplement and make it work, normalize it to where it works the way it should.
Well, I got to tell you folks, there's something amazing. There's the Beta Glucan's a green one that I take every morning for many, many years. And I have missed it. I've traveled, you know, we've taken the kids away and so forth. Boy, do I miss it. If I fall into old eating habits and so forth, I wish I had that Beta Glucan. I want to talk to you today about allergy. I worked in an allergy clinic in Los Angeles for many years, and I learned, as you folks probably know, and Frank certainly knows, that an allergy is an adverse reaction to an otherwise harmless protein. It all is dependent on your thumbprint. Your mom may have this problem, you don't. Wow, made it through that one. But allergy is a huge problem in America. I remember 45 years ago when I began my career thinking, well, this is going to run its course and nobody will have allergy pretty soon. Wrong. Everybody has allergy.
They do get allergies, and the why is that your immune system making a mistake. Now, you have helper T cells. You have two forms. There's TH1 and TH2. If TH2 gets dominant, I'm not going to get into this in great detail, you release histamines by error. You go back to Know the Cause, Doug, just a great name for a show, by the way. And if you know the cause and you know those things are out of kilter, think of a railroad crossing where you've got the arms coming down and just staying down. Or in this case, they're coming up when they shouldn't and releasing the histamines into what's called the mast cells, eosinophils. And then when they release, you get the constriction of your vessels, and that's asthma. You get it going into different places it shouldn't be, and that's where you get the itchy eyes, the runny nose, all those different allergic reactions. The glucans have been demonstrated to come in and help correct the immune system making the mistake. It's not that the beta-glucan corrects the allergy, but it's like, and you have to keep taking it. It doesn't stay in your system. It stays 48 to 72 hours. I have chronic, I have seasonal allergies. I missed more. I still hold the record in my high school for missed days for allergies. Some of them I actually had allergies.
But it was a test day.
In any case, for the last 15, 20 years, I've talked for a living because of beta-glucan, and it works for allergies.
Frank has a formula that he put together, he and Mark and the whole team over there at the NSC Company, that's truly amazing. So of course you've got your beta-glucan, and folks, I want you to think of beta-glucan literally as all your white blood cells, millions of them, putting a pair of glasses on so they can see the target. Understand, Frank and I have talked about beta-glucan for 20 years, and the University of Nevada has talked about it along those same lines, that long a period of time. It doesn't kill a thing. This isn't an antibiotic that will kill bacteria, thank God. This is a product that arms your defenses. When we get back from this break, I called Frank several times in the last 20 years because I had immune system questions. This from a guy that used to employ immunologists on my staff. Frank has a way of answering immune system questions that is just eloquent. So when we get back, let's kind of define the immune system and then see how this beta-glucan puts their glasses on. Don't go away. You've heard me say this forever, and I'll tell you again in the next segment, but this is the free packet. Love it. There's, about 10 of the beta-glucan, the big boy, NSC 100 in here. And if you're a brand new viewer, we have recently started in Florida and several cities. Just call Frank Jordan. We'll put his telephone number up, his cell number up. And you can call him and get a free pack sent to you. Just take 1 or 2 a day and watch what happens. So, Frank, I promised leading into that last break that we'd talk a little bit about immunity. Because I'm a guy, when I was young, I'd go to a doctor, he'd feel up here and under my arms, top of my legs, he's looking for my lymph nodes. And I thought, okay, that must be where the immune system is. But you educated me a quarter of a century ago that what you learned was the immune system's all over the place.
It is all over the place. One of the mistakes, it's not a mistake, it's emphasis has been put on the bloodstream and the content to determine your immune status, where actually it's the mucosal membrane, which is not just in your nose. A lot of people think that's a nose deal, but that's primarily in your gut, your intestinal. But it starts here, it goes all the way down. And up to 80% of your immune response cells are in those locations. Now, they change. You have macrophages, for instance, in the brain. You have them in the liver, Kupffer cells. You have them in just throughout the body. Amazingly, in the gut, it's called macrophages. Yeah. So Mama ran out of names and just said, okay.
But you're saying that immune cells have different names.
They have different names, and they're throughout the body. Well, you have the B cells that produce antigens. You have the T cells and the white immune cells. Neutrophils are the most prevalent. The amazing thing is God gave us 20% of our body as immune cells. That's 20 trillion cells. And you make these cells, neutrophils, just when you're feeling good, you make over 100,000 a day. Now, that's a lot of cells. Of course, some of them are dying off as you go. But the important thing is we're now saying immunotherapy is the new thing. It came at creation, folks. It's been there all the time. It's your own body. So what do? With this, we try to enable your body to be all it can be for the entire span. And as we age, it doesn't, to see that we can normalize it and bring it back. So look, immunity is this. You want to recognize what wants to harm you. You want to react to come against it. That's where the glucan helps your immune cells. And then you want to resolve the issue. And that's what your immune cells do by killing, phagocytosis, getting these things out of your body. But I want to say the immune cells do the killing. The glucan does the normalization and potentiation. That's right.
I'm thinking of a mom at home, mom, dad, grandma watching this show right now. We are running little, Berkeley off to the doctor. We aren't. Somebody is running their babies or their grandbabies out to a doctor every week, seems to have inner ear infections, throat problems, and so forth. Number one, check your environment. There may be mold growing in that environment. But number two, open one of these little capsules in a little bowl of oatmeal or yogurt or something like that. So many people look at that little capsule and say, well, my 3-year-old can swallow that. They don't have to.
No, they really don't have to. And this is 2 to 3 microns in size in one of these capsules. The head of a pen is 2,000 microns. Does that tell you how small this is? So you can take this, and the capsules are double all. It's the smallest they make. If they made smaller, we'd have smaller, but they don't make them. So try this out. It doesn't have to be refrigerated, has a long shelf life. And I take it everywhere because I mentioned I have both forms of allergies, and I've had them all my life. A lot of that is based on your cellular makeup. Some people have an allergy, some people don't. Some people can walk into a pollen farm and it doesn't bother them. The next person falls on the ground. That's me. So don't step on me if I'm out there. But since I take this, it stays in my system and it works to correct the errors that the immune cells often make, and it doesn't nutritionally.
Let's, Chris, shoot back these, and let me try and explain to the folks what these are. Okay, this is the allergy formula, folks. This has all the good, anti-inflammatory, natural, harmless substances and the beta-glucan in it. This is the bad boy I have at home. This is the NSC 110 milligrams of beta-glucan. And this, for a child, my gosh, folks, please don't think that by giving a child one of these, his allergies, his itchy skin is going to magically go away. Like any good supplement, let it build, let it develop in his body or her body for a period of time. But I'm saddened by how many people run their babies out because of the chronic cough, chronic infections, where you might be a capsule away from ending that. How do you get beta-glucan? I'm glad you asked. Don't go away, we'll be right back. I have a friend who's a physician's assistant who worries about natural products. How do they interfere with medications and so forth? He believes that since everybody's on medication, how in the world would a product like this interfere? Are there any adverse events known? I have read, I can't find a one.
Doug, we've been providing this 20 years, and in that time, particularly in the allergy area, we've had no negative responses, which we immediately report as required. But for small children, for instance, daycare, kindergartens, you catch everything and bring it home. That's why everything starts again when we get back in school, because little ones bring it home, and the aunts, uncles, daddies, and grandparents, they all catch these things, and then they spread it. But no, and it does not cause drowsiness either.
Like an antihistamine.
Now, histamines often do. Antihistamines just block the histamines from getting to the receptors. But in this case, you want to go back to the cause where you don't have to need the antihistamines. Now, some of the new ones don't cause drowsiness, but a lot of the old, that was a big problem, that if you took them, you shouldn't sleep.
You know what, Frank, take me, in the few minutes we have left, you're not a regular nutritional supplement company. I remember the name Dr. Ken Hunter. I mean, when you decided to go this route, you brought in the big boys, one of the most renowned immunologists out at the University of Nevada. You spend a lot of time and a lot of money perfecting this product. In other words, folks, most beta-glucan is too big to hook onto the receptor site on the blood cells. So what they've done is made it tiny, so it fits right in. But you've done much more than that. Just give people an overview.
Well, we started over 20 years ago. We're really a science company with a product versus a product company that goes and looks at science. We have ongoing research. We've just redone a total processing center based on new forms and ways to do it that will make it even better than it is now, and that will be, probably 6 to 8 months before that gets in the market. But it's very important to know where you go. If the company you're buying from doesn't do its own medical school research and have that published, we've been peer reviewed. I have patents that have been issued or are in process on beta-glucan in the immune system. I'm a federal expert in court on the immune response. And just, you want to know who you're dealing with. NSC has been here, Nutritional Scientific Corporation. We were the top small tech company in Nevada many years ago under Dr. Hunter's supervision. Have the program for their whole grant system was our research, which we were quite proud of. So we've been doing that medical research a long time and have constantly sought to make our glucan better and better in its characteristics and process.
I mean, I'm in health food stores all the time, and I see beta-glucan, and I see it for $12, and I think, boy, that's tempting. Folks, if you want to drive a Mercedes, then you got to buy a Mercedes. There's so many beta-glucans out there, and I don't know them all. I bet there's some good ones. Why would you go elsewhere? Frank has put the money into it. The product really works. And you always have these, what do you call it, a club and discounts? I can't believe. When we started, it was a $100 bottle of beta-glucan. You've got that down now to where it's very affordable for people.
It's 24% off every month. You can change any of the NSC products after you join the club. It's free to renew, free shipping and handling, and you can even change products each month. It's a great way to buy it. You can go to the website, nsc24.com. And YouTubes, please go. There's a number of them on different subjects. Allergies is a big one where we discuss it. It's brief, it's 3 minutes, but most informative, and I think you'd really enjoy them.
Yeah, and you do a very good job. They're about 3 minutes long. You want that free? There's about a dozen, maybe 10 of the NSC beta-glucans in this. Just call the toll-free number you see on your screen right now, and off it goes to you. But do me a favor, don't cheat. If you've already got it once and you're buying this, hang on. You got a good ride going. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Doug.
Hi, I'm Jenny Herbacek with the Cancer Connection. We all know that the chemicals in our toiletries can increase our risk of cancer. I recently discovered several deodorants that are made with natural ingredients. I particularly like the ones made with geranium oil. The oil is an effective deodorant and has cleansing properties and antiseptic properties. It does this by combating the odor-causing bacteria on the skin. Geranium oil can also be applied directly to the skin if it's mixed with a carrier oil, such as almond oil. So the next time you buy a deodorant, reduce your chemical exposure and try one made with this powerful essential oil. For Know the Cause, I'm Jenny Herbacek.
Okay, you're gonna like this. I've named this segment, Whoops, Sorry. My little grandbaby Berkeley, who I am madly in love with, must have heard that from his parents one time in the car, because it's pretty typical for him now to, when he's telling you how to get somewhere, you go left, then you go right, oops, sorry. And so this is named Oops, Sorry. There's some big lessons in this for each and every one of us. Okay, let's start with this one. Current jellyfish sting recommendations can worsen stings. Oops, sorry. So oceanographers have been telling us this, for what, 50, 70 years? Here's what you do for a jellyfish sting. Oh, no, you don't, because it makes it worse. Whoops, sorry. I was watching TV, the local news, and they said last Wednesday we were going to have hail the size of small bowls dropped onto our home and our cars. So we pull the cars under the awnings, we get all ready at home, make sure the pots are pulled in. It was 72 degrees, sunny sky. And the weatherman came on and said, oops, sorry. These things happen, but these things shouldn't. This is why we have an FDA. Early life antibiotic use linked to inflammatory gut disease in childhood. Oops, sorry. In mice, early use of antibiotics very early in life may contribute to the development of inflammatory bowel disease. We're talking about Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, and potentially other inflammatory diseases like asthma and MS from antibiotics. Where are our governors? Where is our FDA, right? Why didn't they know this in 1950 or 46 when antibiotics came on? Let's go back, 1928. Where were the governing bodies? Wait a minute, be careful with those. Remember, those are mycotoxins, they're fungal poisons, and if you take too many of them, oops, sorry. All of those now with MS, with asthma, with gut disease, oops, oh, sorry. But we have drugs for that. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's this cavalier attitude. Man, somebody ought to be held accountable. But we call this medical science, and we call medicine a practice. We don't get it right, we practice it, okay? Early in life, those mice, early in life, antibiotics are commonly prescribed during pregnancy, says the Mayo Clinic. For the life of me, I will never figure this out, but I'm not an OB-GYN. I don't understand why women are given an antibiotic during pregnancy. There must be a reason. I don't know what it is. I know that my wife didn't, but that was 30 years ago plus. Why all of a sudden is every woman commonly getting an antibiotic? Oh, by the way, Baby Med, this is kind of an interesting, babymed.com. The gestational age of the fetus will affect potential damage from antibiotics. The earlier the pregnancy the antibiotic is taken, the higher the chance of risk to the fetus. These are mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are mutagenic. They'll mutate the DNA. These things are carcinogenic. These affect every organ in your body except your teeth. You have a developing fetus, and they're giving every woman who is pregnant an antibiotic. Am I the only one that is questioning that? Are you? Do you have the right as a woman who's 3 months pregnant to say no? I'm not worried about a little bacteria on my cervix. I want a healthy child, and generations before me never took antibiotics. Why do you want me to take these now? Don't get me started. Okay. Oops, sorry. Fewer than 1% of papers published in the scientific journals follow the scientific method. Why? So says this Professor Armstrong at Wharton School. They're rewarded for doing non-scientific research. They cheat. If you don't get statistically significant results, then you throw out variables, you add variables, and eventually you get what you want. Oops, sorry. So when you're reading on the benefits of new drugs, doctors, nurses, there's a pretty good chance someone manipulated those statistics to say exactly what they were paid to say. Who are they paid by? Oh, the pharmaceutical industry. That's a makeup. But I got to tell you, this kind of stuff happens, and it's beyond whoops, sorry. And then finally, reusing syringe to flush IVs transmitted hepatitis C and maybe hepatitis B, infective disease special edition. A recent Center for Disease Control report found that a nurse might have infected 2 patients with hep C and 2 with hep B virus because she reused pre-filled saline flush syringes in the IV lines of multiple patients, a risk factor for patient-to-patient transmission of blood-borne pathogens. Fungus is a blood-borne pathogen. Look, be prudent. You're in much more control than you think. But we give away that control in a medical environment. Be smart. Okay, did you understand that last whoops, sorry? Nurses commonly have a syringe, they pull back a little saline, and they clean out the lines of patients getting IVs. And what they've been doing is using the same syringe and pushing in 2 cc's in each line. And somehow, I don't know how this happens, but somehow they found that some of the blood cells must have been able to transfer into that syringe. So they were putting blood cells, maybe with diseases, into other patients. Now, the thing that blows me away, folks, is we just figured it out. This has been going on 100 years, and we're just figuring out. Medicine is constantly changing, which is why you need to watch Know the Cause at all times. Like we talked about this morning, how many of you have allergies? How many of you knew about Frank's formula? There's the telephone number. There is the allergy formula. This, of course, is the big boy, the NSC 100. This is a smaller NSC 24, but that combination is dynamic. Just call them and they'll tell you about specials. Of course, if you're a first-time viewer, that's free. This is about 10 of the big boys. That's coming to you free, even pays postage. Jenny Herbacek, thank you so much. Who'd have thought, folks? Toiletries, deodorant. I mean, we really have to put our thinking cap on, which is why I think this show is so beneficial to so many of you. Thanks, Berkeley, for the inspiration of whoops, sorry. We'll see you next time. Don't miss the show or you'll be saying whoops, sorry. Bye-bye.